Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you the Daily SPY Report for Friday, November 5th, 2021. Before I jump into the charts, just want to encourage you once again to click like if you like the video, if it's of use to you, and certainly subscribe to the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel. You will be notified by YouTube each and every time the Daily SPY Report has been uploaded and is ready for your viewing. It is a daily video that goes out typically by about 5 p.m. Central Standard Time each and every trading day for the next trading day. Let's take a look at the charts. Once again, I like to start with the big picture, long-term support, 420.31, longer-term resistance, 472.11. The market's dynamic well into next year is clearly bullish above 420.31. And after October 14th, or I should say on October 14th, when we settled above, among other indicators, this 437.17 channel top, the market elicited a 3 to 5 week buy signal. And I then anticipated the 472.11 long-term trend line that we actually tested last September. Now, I'm not a big trend line per se follower, but when they become longer term, I do begin to respect them. This one is over a year long. The first high is August of 2020. And as I say, it contained the September highs. It may well contain the November highs as well. We could fall off from 472.11 through the balance of the year, perhaps. But there's other things going on with the Dow, DIA, and the Russell 2000, the IWM, that do suggest that those indexes are in the midst of eliciting longer-term buy signals. Not official yet, and I'll get to that in a moment. But if so, then there is cause to lighten up on that 472.11 perceived strength and anticipate a forthcoming violation in the days ahead. But we're not there yet, and I'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the video. So for the day itself, you've got 472.11 resistance that just may be in reach above this 464.11 former channel top that we settled above a couple of days ago, representing day support only that can contain session weakness. And as I say, 472.11 expected over the next several days. On the way up, I've got 468.83 today. You can see the support resistance area. That is a respectable intraday resistance point. Could contain buying for the better part of the day, but it is susceptible to violation given the overall bullish dynamic on a number of time frame horizons. And if we push or open today above 468.83, 472.11 is in reach by the closing bell, where we can top out through next week, and as I say, possibly through November trade and beyond. But if we close above 472.11, and I mean clearly above, and you could add the 1% violation there, above 472.11. I don't have it listed, but it's easy math. 4.72 above 472.11 would be 476.83, I think. Yeah. 476.83. And, I don't think with regard to this trend line on the daily chart that really needs to be honored. I think it needs to be comfortably above, though, 473, let's say, and higher. But I do think, and I'm going to show you in a moment, the Dow and the IWM, I think those levels do deserve the 1% violation, those weekly formations. And I'll get to those in a moment. But let's just get back to today. 468.83, if we push through it, 472.11 in reach, where we could top out possibly through November trade. And if we close above 472.11, I have 479.62 as the next 2 to 3 day target. And as I was mentioning in yesterday's video, I would then have the lower 490s within about 2 to 3 weeks. And then ultimately, over the next 3 to 5 months, perhaps, this 518.45 rising channel top. And I think 3 to 5 months is realistic. I had somebody email me yesterday and say, I don't remember exactly the wording, but they questioned whether 3 to 5 months was really accurate in terms of a target. And I think so. If you go back to this same formation in terms of the market's behavior, if you go back to the COVID low in March of 2020, within about 2.5 months, we rallied the same distance. Now, I know we're not in this COVID world where we're coming off a significant low, but closing above that trend line should spawn, meaningful follow-through buying pressures into Q1 through the rest of the year. And I do think 3 to 5 months as we get into March, April, May of next year, we could certainly reach that 518.45 channel top where we could actually place an annual high. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I'm just painting the big longer term picture. Let's talk downside today. If we break below that 464.11 former channel top, 461.64 not out of the question today. So breaking 61.11, you should allow for 461.64 on an intraday basis where we can bottom out well into next week. From there, we can rally back up to that 472.11 trend line within about 3 to 5 days. So 461.64 is trend defining short term. And I say, over the week or two of trade, the last week or so, that's my short term. My near term is 2 to 3 weeks. My midterm is kind of 3 to 5 weeks out to 2 to 3 months, so forth and so on. But if we do break that 464.11, then 461.64 in reach where we can bottom out into next week. And once tested, 472.11 in reach then over the following 3 to 5 days or so. But if we close below 461.64, then we should within several days fall all the way back into the low to mid 450s, the 453.52 to 454.65 area. And that, once again, is a channel structure that I've been, showing for the last week or so. And I know if any of you have been watching these closely, you know that there's the former channel top at 458.48. I've reduced that, and I'm favoring now that 461.64 channel bottom is our downward pivot point. So breaking 461.64 or closing below 461.64, yes, I do have 458.48 as a respectable intraday support level. But honestly, if we close below 461.64, I think you should prepare yourself for 453.52 to 54.65 within just 1 to 3 days at the most, where we can bottom out on a weekly basis, and above which the 2 to 3 week time frame remains bullish and an anticipation of the 472.11 long-term trend line. Now, if we were, and this is almost not worth even mentioning, but if we were to close below the 453.52 level today, then 440.52 is then expected within 1 to 2 weeks at the most, where by that point in time we can bottom out into possibly through December trade. Let's take a look at this upside again. Closing above 472.11 may be considered sort of an eventuality of by some point next week if we, close above the DIA today by a 1% margin above that 359.39 channel top, which is 362.98 or higher. Now, yesterday we got to 361.65 and backed off modestly into the close. If we close today at the end of the week, Friday, 362.98 or higher, a 1% violation of that 359.39 level, then the Dow, the DIA, has elicited a longer-term buy signal that should, over the next few months, reach that 390.19 channel top. Now, if we close at 359.80 or something, above 359.39, it is still a buy signal. It's just a bit of a cautionary note, to allow for the possibility that we could fall back below that level early next week. But I think closing at 362.98 or higher should then yield the follow-through buying I would expect. And then the same is true with the IWM, the Russell 2000. It has a channel top right now at 237.73. We got up to 340.93 today, and the 1% violation of 237.73 is 240.10. So if we close today, the week itself, at 240.10 or higher, a 1% push through that 237.73, then as well, the IWM is showing longer-term strength. And over the next, I'd say by the end of the year, we should reach that 265.03 full channel extension. And over the next 3 to 5 months, perhaps, that 287.71 rising channel top. That rising channel top is kind of pulling away from the market. It might take longer than 3 to 5 months, but I think that if we do close at 240.10 or higher today, that 287.71 is likely by some point next year. And then finally, I'll finish with the triple Q. It is approaching its targeted resistance. We might reach that today at 402.73. It's not testing its long-term resistance. It's kind of similar, really, to the SPY. The SPY is just off that 272.11 long-term trend line, and the triple Q has a respectable channel top at 402.73 that, if settled above, and you might throw the 1% violation in there as well, would indicate longer-term bullish continuation into next year. But until then, the triple Q is approaching a 3 to 5 week objective. It's 3 full weeks into it, and that 402.73 formation could contain buying through the balance of the year. I will be doing a weekly DIA triple Q IWM video as per usual that will be released on Sunday for all of next week. I'll give weekly levels. I'm going to leave you with the support and resistance levels just to sort of clarify. Market is bullish today above 464.11, 472.11 expected over the next few days. On the way up today, 468.83 can contain initial strength, beyond which 472.11 is in reach today. Downside, if we break 464.11, we could test that 461.64 short-term rising channel bottom that can contain selling into next week, and above which 472.11 is likely by the end of next week. Closing today below 461.64 signals 1 to 3 days aggressive selling down to the 453.52 to 54.65 area, where we can bottom out on a weekly basis, and above which 472.11 remains a 2 to 3 week target. And that's all I've got for today. I'll be back on Sunday for Monday's Daily SPY Report. That's all I've got. You have a great evening and a great weekend, and we will talk in a few days.